What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Steve from A Reptile I Am. We've got a super special guest with us tonight. We're going to bring him on in just a second. I know that we are a little bit early right now, but I was just so excited to get this show on the road. I'm hoping that we're able to bring a little bit of bullet point knowledge on a couple of the Australian pythons that we're going to be spotlighting today. I know that I'm going to leave having learned something, and through the little bit of research I did prior to this show, I actually did learn some stuff in that. So it was super exciting for me because there's not much better than to continue your knowledge and continue your growth. So I'm looking forward to this. I hope you guys are. We're going to go ahead and bring him on now. This is my boy, James, the Sicilian Sizzla Stassi. What's going on, brother? Oh, what's up, dude? What's going on, man?
What's going on? Thank you for having me on the show.
Hey, dude, I love it. I love it. We talk about this all the time. A lot of people don't realize this, but James has been a part of the ARIA Army since, I mean, the beginning infancy days. And he doesn't do a whole lot on Facebook where I have a really big following. So there's not a whole lot of interacting, but James is one of those guys that he'll send me just a funny message on a Tuesday at 10:30. And he just makes me smile. And I tell you what, Sizzla, people like that are the kind of people I want to be around, brother. So thank you for being you, and thank you for being on with us, dude.
That's a two-way street, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I tell you what, let's go ahead and get this kicking and popping because we got multiple species that we're going to show here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're all going to get enough time as it is. So we're going to give it hell, and we're going to see where we get. So this one is some Australian pythons being spotlighted. And let's go ahead and start with the Woma Python.
Right. So we got the Woma Python.
Let's give him
to start with. I hope you guys can get some good. There you go. Some body shots.
I love it, dude. I love it.
And so Australia, they not only have some of the most radical, all venomous snakes and all the best reptiles in that nature, but they have some of the most unique pythons. And both the Woma and Blackhead share some characteristics that are going to be both in similarity, which make them very unique in the reptile world. But these are Aspidite ramsii, also known as the Ramsey Python or Woma Python. Obviously, they come from the northern territories of east and western of Australia. Their diet is really cool. They do start off, eating smaller rodents and lizards and things like that. In captivity, the trickier side, what a lot of people have, myself included, because I have a couple of juveniles that I'm raising up in the future to hopefully breed, is setting off quail. So if a lot of you ever have an issue with them getting on the feed, just a real cool little tidbit that I've learned along the way is scenting it with quail or offering quail to the prey item. And then also being a more cave or wall kind of animal, they're very push their bodies up. And so another way to kind of, I don't use their agitate, but kind of give their food kind of around the neck area, to simulate that. And then they want to crush it up. So it's you're kind of replicating the origin and natural way that this animal would want to eat. So it gets a good thriving start in captivity to start with, but they're really radical, man.
And you know something that really fascinates me about this species here is the lack of heat pits.
No thermal receptor sites, no heat sensing pits.
So I think that is exceptionally cool. So I did a little bit of research, just enough to make myself dangerous, because I wondered, I was like, so in nature, if they're missing that, then there has to be something that is supplementing or, something
where's the evolution going on? Where are we at?
Something's going on there.
Yeah, something's going on.
Man, I got to give you the screen again, dude. I didn't realize you had two of them out. So
another one.
What I was getting at is, so there's actually two things that it said that really help with the Woma and another species, which we'll get into in just a second. And they use their Jacobson's organ and the rostral scales, which So the Jacobson organ, that's actually located like on the roof of the mouth in the nasal cavity area.
Yeah, that's going to be up in the front area.
And what it allows them to do is it allows them to detect like heat from the prey. So basically it does that through detecting like chemicals in the air. So it's not just for prey, pheromones, predators, all of that stuff. And then the rostral scales, it said with that, those are located right on the tip of the snout, it said.
Correct, kind of like similar to like a Western hognose. That front pushed up part is the rostral scale area.
And it was saying that that's basically the equivalent to the heat sensing pits.
Yeah.
And in essence, it lets them feel for prey in the dark because it can sense subtle temperature changes.
They're incredible, man. They really, what doesn't come out of Australia that has adaptive qualities to just be, from a different planet, basically. But furthermore, also, a good friend on Facebook, Dave, in the Woma's group, and there's some other these really amazing breeders, and they're doing it. And these are passion projects, man. They're getting black Womas. They're producing all kinds of different color patterns. I mean, I'm thrilled just to have a couple of different variations of the bands. Like this female has a different band. He's got some zigzags, and as you can see, you can kind of maybe line straight the ones you can get in the U.S. And kind of maybe do variable patterns. And hey, if you pop out something out of a random clutch, I mean, that'd be pretty nuts. But they have some access to great stuff because of the fact that they have availability for it. So they're, again, awesome species. A lot of people like to always say, hey, what's better than a corn snake, or hey, what's a good option or something. Don't rule out a Woma Python. I mean, 4.5 to maybe 6.5 feet, depending on male and female. Not extreme, care, as far as setting them up, put them in anything as far as some from aspen to, for unprinted paper or cocoa husk and stuff. So all that's there. And then they're really, really awesome animals. And then again, price point on these guys to actually acquire them and to not be out of the realm of possibility, between $500 and $1,500, for a good captive bred animal is, it's worth it. Plus, it's not a super common reptile. It's a little bit more of a rarer reptile, but a little bit more of an easier species to take care of. So it's kind of cool both ends.
So I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
So in my little bit of research, like I was saying, through the four that we're actually addressing today and going to go over, they live in different regions. Some are mountainous, some are prairie. Does the husbandry change much for how you keep these?
Here's the deal. And when it comes to how I keep my personal animals versus how, everybody else, what I learned I can now passionately and happily say over 30 years of having reptiles, if your animals are shedding, if they're healthy and they're thriving and they have ideal body weight, and even if you're not breeding them, they just look like a happy animal and you're enjoying them and you don't care about the monetary value, just do that. That's my 2 cents. Just do what's working for the animal in your captive environment. But do your research. If one comes from a territory that's a little bit more arid, well, they get the right, temperature gradients and work that way. If it's a little bit more tropical, well, get the right, tools and setup and have it a little bit more, tropical. Just replicate it. So in my sense, doing them in rack styles or PVC styles or even natural style cages, you do what you can do. I wouldn't just get overloaded with it. So I do what works. Some of them I keep really similar. A lot of these animals you can keep similar, but gaining their trust, being patient, and really doing your research and keeping low stress would be the number one thing to keep in captive care on. Not just Australian snakes, but I think any reptile.
Right. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. All right, so we'll go ahead and do a quick slide and transition here.
Yeah, I got something to slide through. Hang on a second.
So yeah. We're gonna go ahead and slide to the blackhead stuff.
Okay.
Which I'm intrigued with myself personally. I've looked at it a couple times.
Steve, They are. This
It's
is my.
gorgeous.
This was my grail animal. And again, I don't. You can have a grail animal, whether it's a green and old, whatever body. And I don't care what anybody's animal is per se. But
He's
this I
coming out.
waited.
He's taking the screen.
Yeah, this I would
So while
wait
you're
over
getting it,
20 years. Here it is.
something that I learned was, do you know how the blackhead actually helps them in the wild?
Go ahead. What we got?
So because of their size in the wild, instead of just basking in the sun to warm its body, because it doesn't want to expose itself to predators,
Sure.
the blackhead protrudes out of its burrow or whatever, and that's how it works, as like a solar panel that radiates through the rest of the body. I thought that was
what a design, man.
What a unique evolutionary trait, dude.
Right. And what about its cousin, the Woma Python, that very similar in body structure and color, lacks that. But yeah, this was a grail animal to forever for me. And to have this female, it means the world. And I have just her. I'm good on that. There's some really cool things about these animals, why I just have her. I got her. She's about just close to 2 years old.
God, she's gorgeous.
Her name is Velvet. I got her from a really, really awesome breeder, and what I consider a friend is Don Meeker. He breeds beautiful blackheads and some other specialty animals. And the really cool thing about these guys is they are lizard specialists. Like, this guy loves bearded dragons. Like, out in the wild, if you were to check them out, that's it, bearded dragons and other reptiles, and then you have rodents and things like that. So in captivity, I was told by the breeders these are very tricky to start getting eaten. But once they do, just like a Woma, they are garbage cans.
Now, and
unreal.
It's pronounced Aspadites, right?
Yeah, it's Aspadites. I believe Rams. Again, other people pronounce things differently. Aspadites.
Well,
Rams,
so
this one is I forgot this.
It's still an Aspadites.
Melanocephalus.
Correct.
Melanocephalus is this one, huh?
Just like the Woma, it's still an Aspadites, right?
Yeah, so the genus Aspadites is for the Blackhead Python and the Woma. That's why, again, characteristically very similar in color and the whole nine. This one's an Eastern, and it's like there's an Eastern. You see a lot of Westerns. Westerns I see in exanthic morphs and a lot of color patterns. And the Easterns tend to get very large. Like these get almost to like 10 foot. Like the dam and sire on these were over 10 feet. Huge animals, 10-foot animal. The Westerns in captivity, if you see a lot of them around 7.5 foot. Still some get big, but more.
Let's see that head. Bring that head up here, dude.
Yeah.
It's so black, it's just shiny.
It looks like you dipped it in ink. And if you
go to an expo, it really does.
Yeah, if you go to an expo or go to wherever you can get these, if you could see them in person, it really is a whole different ballgame than watching them on camera with or on a YouTube thing, whatever it is. How this goes.
Did you get this? Did you get this animal at an NARBC?
No, I got this one locally because out here in the Midwest, that's where this breeder's at. And he met with me locally, and I got to pick her out, and and this, I'm telling you, brother, I still get goosebumps holding her because I can't believe I have a blackhead, and again, nothing to do with the money of it. I love my anole cage as much as my blackhead, as the monkey tails, this, that, the other, has nothing to do with that. So when you get an animal and you wait almost 20 years or more to get, you take a pride in what you do, and then you really get to look back at the other animals and say, what can I do better to make that a little bit better? Do I need to maybe downsize on something here to give a little here? And that's what with these animals, as long as you can keep on increasing their lifestyle so they can thrive, an amazing animal, man. And what a great animal to show people. That way it keeps them interested in the hobby, and to show these aren't just nasty, aggressive, or unattainable animals, man. You guys can make it happen. Everybody can enjoy them. You know
what I really love and respect, Sizzla, is that you got these as very young hatchlings, juveniles, and went through the process, dude. And
Mhm.
I love it when people do that. I don't know. Instead of just buying up into it, I feel like you're doing it right and taking the time to enjoy the process.
Mhm.
Now, do they? I guess I have another Spitfire question. This might be stupid. It might not. But do they go through any sort of pattern change from younger to older, anything like that, or?
In my experience with this animal, I have noticed she does retain a nice orange, kind of like bright color. Over time, I have seen majority of the blackhead pythons kind of get like I'll call it a gray out color. You guys can
Okay.
call it what you want. Kind of like a stretched out grayer, darker, kind of maybe like some people call it washed out color, but beautiful nonetheless. On her, I've noticed she's been staying quite, colorful. Again, will she get darker out as she grows? Maybe, but regardless, it's good. One of the craziest things that I've researched and was told by breeders, most snakes you can get up to size. These you don't do that. They take up to 4 years for the female to get to sexual maturity. So if you're
And
trying to
then,
buy it, go ahead.
and no, I'm sorry, Jamie. I'm really bad about cutting people off. I'm
No,
like
go ahead.
that. It's horrible quality.
Go ahead.
But I know I'll forget. So I read what you're talking about, that 4 years that's what it was for a female.
To do it right.
And then,
That's the thing. Some might do it other ways and say, "Oh, I could do it this and that and the other." But seriously, man, for a snake that can pop 6 to 20 eggs, that takes a long time to mature in the wild. Why wouldn't you kind of replicate that
and
in
then it
captivity?
said that, so everything I was researching was on wild.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really broad spectrum, because I would rather know what it is like that. Because, like
Absolutely.
you said, when it comes to setting stuff up, I like to replicate as much as I
Much as
can.
possible. As much as possible.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I want it to be comfortable for the animal and what it's probably going to be used to. But it said that after a female lays, they may not do it again for 3 years. Have you?
See, I've read something similar to that, and again, I it's just the nature of maybe the way that they are. Another crazy thing is about these animals that I had to learn from the breeders, and I talked to a lot of really successful people with these in captivity. About every 3 or 4 days, you actually want to feed him 3 or 4 quite smaller meals. You don't just give this guy a big medium rat. See you in 4 more. See you in a week. Drop another rat. Not happening. This is a cruiser. So an animal to stay in a constant state of digestion for the wrong metabolic way that this animal digests, let alone in the wild, but you're going to put it in captivity by breaking up the meals more often, and a smaller prey item is very similar to a lizard eater that's broke down. Lizards don't have a lot of fat on it. So this animal, but the black head that specially comes out a special way and it's all special, if it's designed to eat special lizards, low body fat, so maybe the liver and pancreas can't have a lot of, fat gut loaded rats all the time. So when you break it up, because this thing cruises, she cruises, man. They get one meal and they're fun, man. You put a 3 or 4 little hoppers or smaller items all around the cage. They come out, they cruise, and they eat one here, they go there. They're not just like a boa. Bam, grab you, eat you, swallow up, see you later. So totally different. So you got to do your research. If you do, you're going to have an animal that is slender, happy, healthy, metabolically in check. And that if you do want to breed, you will have a successful,
Right,
ovulation and the whole nine. Everything goes into that.
right, right.
So, but yeah, they're awesome. But you need to cycle them also for ovulation as well. But and again, cost cycle compared to the Woma, you're stacking. You're it's the next tier. I mean, to even get into a good quality one, you're in the $1,800 and up. And then if you're going to get a female, you can more than likely double that price and up. Again, it's not, you can't, like you always say, you can't put a price on these animals. You can have a Corvette value in animals. It means nothing. It's how you present it and what you want to put back to this hobby, because without it, we wouldn't have these animals.
Right.
100%. So
Awesome.
that's,
Awesome. Awesome. And I love that it's a female.
yeah. You know what? I just, and the reason why I want it, I want to have one large Australian species. The next one I'm going to bring out, it's not the largest, but in the Morelia genus of carpet pythons out of Australia. The Bredli is, they can be quite big. They are one of the highest, if not egg laying, up to almost 55, 60 eggs. So very gnarly species. So we're going to put Velvet back, and I think we're going to get out the little male Gambit. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
been waiting his
Gambit.
whole life to make a name for himself. So I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
he has. They call me the Gambit.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure you didn't just want them to call you that?
Let's see. All right.
All right, let's see Gambit, the Bredli.
Yeah, this is a male. Hello? Oh, yeah.
Hello? Yeah.
Right,
How are you doing?
Yeah. All right, let's see. And these guys are great. Here goes my male. And this male, I picked up because, you got to save a little bit of the best for last for my female that I had. But this male is almost a 3-year-old male. He's just a normal classic Bredli. These are Morelia Bredli, also known as the Centralian Python, or the Central Python. They come from a very, very cool area in the Northern Territory called Alice Springs, and those a very, very small area. And this is, I think, the most bulletproof species of snake, most tolerable to heat, cold extremes, and all in all, just one of the most beautiful. And this is my favorite species of carpet python.
That's the one I was talking about from a mountainous range right there.
Yes.
Because it said that not only like you said, Alice Springs, but mainly McDonald Mountain Range. They're like very, very secluded zone.
Very, very, yes. These are, I'm trying to get his head over here so you can see these heads on these guys. Look at the heat pits on these. Beautiful. And
look like Jack Skellington mouth.
Right. He does. And even call it like the Pumpkin King. But these guys, the Bredli, about 5.5 to 8 foot. Some get maybe a little bit bigger, depending on male or female. Come in some really cool variable morphs, striped, hypo, stone washed. I just have a pair of classics. I just think classics are just classic. I mean, it is what it is. The other's got like a pistachio color to them and a rustic red. I don't know. There's the Bredlis. They're very unique. They're just very unique. They're their own uniqueness, just like a jungle carpet or a coastal or Darwin has their own hot spot. These guys have their own, specialties to them.
So that one's getting close to full grown then, yeah?
Not really full grown by any means. I mean, he's definitely getting larger for breeding size. These guys, not like anything like the blackheads take, they take forever to want to breed. These guys can breed up a little, sooner. I'm going to pull out my female. I've had her for just a little over 10 years. I got her back in, I think it was the 2014 Daytona show. And from Trace Harden from Harden Herpetologica. And he's got some beautiful carpet pythons and Brazilians and so forth. But the Bredlis are really cool. So I'm going to pull you out my female that's been with me for over 10 years. And these guys are another just garbage can species as well. If you ever are feeding in your reptile room and you got leftovers, they're going to take it. So let me go get this female.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are cool. Also, another thing that's really cool about these guys, they're more crepuscular, where they're coming out between dusk and dawn, also because of the regions and that rock habitat. When you're getting different mammals and birds and even bats in that area, they're going to take advantage and use that to eat what's in their environment. So let's get this female out. She's so cool. Did I mention I love my reptiles? I love them.
Yes, sir.
I love my life so much. I only do it twice because I love these things. Here she is. Come here, sweetheart. Look at her. Oh my God.
So a couple shout outs. We got the first lady down there. We've got Rooster. That's my first daughter. We got my homie Kryptonite Dreams down there. What's up, Wayne? Yeah. Now, how long have you had her?
Over 10 years. I told you I got her at the Daytona Expo and a long time ago, and
Oh,
she's
you're
moved with
talking
me.
about going way back,
Yeah, dude,
Daytona,
she's
dude.
moved over 3 different states with me, and she's been through very hot
Wow.
climates. We're what, gonna be 10 degrees out in the Midwest, going through a cold
Wow.
snap. Not like she's gonna be out in the cold, but these animals, they, barometric pressure wise, they can feel it.
Real
Like look
quick,
at the head.
Sizzla, real quick.
Yeah.
We got Hunter just slid up in here, bro. Down in the thread saying what's up.
Hey guys, what's happening? There you go.
Man. Dude,
And again,
she's impressive.
yeah, man. And again,
Is she in
babies, go
shed?
ahead. She's getting ready to go in shed. Yep,
Yeah,
she's
I
getting
thought I
ready.
saw on the eyes. God,
Yeah, she's
she's a
getting
tank.
ready. Yeah, she is. As you can see, she is a great example of how they can be. Babies are very cantankerous. They're very, very aggressive sometimes. Are defensive. They're very defensive, very food driven. But once they get out of that little pepper stage, man, you can get an animal that gets near 8 feet, boa length, that has ball pipe, a little bit thicker than, like your thicker balls, pythons, and just straight beautiful pattern and semi-arboreal.
I did not know that you had that in house, dude. That's an amazing animal. And
Thank you.
dude, hats off to you for how long you've had that animal,
Thank you.
because that dude, that's a commitment. It's
Yeah.
every day. And
Yeah.
that animal's just a tank. A
And
tank.
Steve, that's what I mean, Steve. So some of these animals, man, you subscribe to over a 40-year commitment, man, and monthly dietary requirements, special lighting. It is not a job. It is a passion. It is not just a hobby. It's what it is, man. I mean, just people do it with their fish tanks. People do it with dogs. People do whatever. Insert,
What's up, Lisa?
your passion of animal. If that's what it is, you're going to be committed. These monkey tails that live 30 years and live in circuluses that need a dynamic group of 3 or more to pair bond psychologically for that species, they're coming for the full ride, brother. And I got 7 in there. So it's just like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So when you say that, I wholeheartedly appreciate that, because
No, I love
like
it,
you said,
dude.
I don't do the Facebook and all that crazy stuff, because I don't care, because these guys matter. So
Yeah, I love it, dude. That's awesome.
yeah, man.
Just
So
a
the Bredlis are awesome. The coastals kind of similar, but just way larger. The beautiful pattern ones, you got diamond pythons are a great other Australian species of carpet. We could talk, 3-4 hours on different Morelia. But their heads, I always call them apple heads. I mean, if you can see the top of her head, it's like an apple, and no aggressiveness, desensitized, happy animal, good example, and always keep them, within, reason to where you're safe. So
yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. My buddy Lance, he's out there, man. What's going on? Catching charters.
hey.
So we're gonna slide on.
Yeah, where you want to slither on to next? You want to saving the best for last?
I want to see some green tree.
You want to see some green tree?
So the green tree python GTP.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what he's got that way.
Yeah, as I'm gonna put this girl back, we're gonna get out the green tree python in here in a second.
All right, guys. So while he's doing that, we'll send out a couple shout outs to the sponsors that we have over here at ARIA. We'd like to send love out to RGI, Rare Genetics Inc. That's the place to go for your shed testing, guys. They're not just testing ball pythons. They're working multiple species. So even if it's a species that they don't currently have, if you're backstocking 20 sheds or more, you can send those in and they can start validating that stuff. US Art, guys. If you're not supporting the ARC and you have reptiles, I don't even know what you're doing, man. So it doesn't matter if you have 1 or you have 100. We're all in the same family together, guys. So support the ARC, whatever you can do, guys. That's what's up.
Okay. Now, a lot of times with the green tree pythons, they're not your most handling species where everybody's like, oh yeah, I got a green tree, take them out. Now, they're not the worst to get out. You just work with the animal, take your time, use a hook, and I know this might blow up the internet. Yes, this is a Biac or Biac. I call it Biac. It should be
Biac.
flying around, biting my face, going crazy. Hook, desensitize, take your time, let the animal work coming out with you. And yes, you can hold the most notorious face biting. Yes, there are ones that are crazy, but yes, this is a Biac green tree. Green trees, multiple localities coming out of Australia. They also come out of, you can get them out of Indonesia, New Guinea, and then localities. So this Biac and green trees also, like emerald trees, have the ontogenetic trait where they change that color, because this one was actually bright red. This was a red neonate, not yellow, but because it's a Biac locality, it'll favor and have more of the yellow pigmentation as it goes through adult green change. So it's starting to get the change, getting close to 2 years old. It's a little boy, and there are about, I don't know, 7 or 8 that I only remember of the island locality morphs of the green trees. You got the Biac, which is this one, which is actually the largest, getting up to almost 6.5 feet on some of these females. The sarongs, which are the mainland ones, the arus, which are more of the bluish, the Wamina, Jayapara, Dukandini, and which I had at one time was just an Arfac locality, which has like these white and blue petals that go down the dorsal pattern along the side, where these get like more of a banana and like a rose petal. But either way, remarkable species, man.
Yeah, man, that's a really good shot that you're doing right there too, by the way.
Yeah, and it just shows if anybody has a green tree and you want to kind of see it or hold it, as you can see, you kind of just mimic and be calm with it. It's not unachievable, and you don't have to fear it. Work with a hook and desensitization.
So
when an animal doesn't have a full belly of food, you can hold green trees. It's not unattainable.
Here's the thing that I feel like sometimes people are misrepresenting. And everybody, I want you to, as I'm saying this, keep your hand down, James. Yeah, I want to see your hand.
Yeah.
He's not really holding this snake. The snake is on him. He is the perch. So this snake is more comfortable right now, because I guarantee you, if he grabbed to restrain this animal, just like what would happen if you grabbed a human being or anything, there's going to be some sort of resilience to it. There's an enormous difference when we talk about, oh, we're handling these animals. A lot of these, that's not exactly, don't get lost in the interpretation. This animal having more free roaming and free range, it's comfortable. And like he said a couple times, it's almost desensitized because it's gone through enough good handling experiences that it knows that the Sizzla is not going to hurt it.
And
so there's a level of respect there, and people say that a lot of these reptiles don't have that. And I'm not going to say that they do or they don't when it comes to the snakes, but I will say this. There's some odd things that happen over here with our snakes that happen with me versus with the first lady. And there's certain ones that like me and don't like me, and vice versa. So if there wasn't some sort, there's something there, whether it's a survival instinct and they finally know, okay, this isn't a predator, this or whatever, there is some sort of mental capacity. And that's why tap training even works.
Yeah, absolutely. And I even, wasn't Dave Kaufman that also did the green trees and did there's great footage when they're seeing and finding a lot of these green trees in the wild, as well as even these wild locality ones, and they're really not that crazy. They're finding them, obviously in plants and canopy area and enough to see them and document it, but they're getting them with like twigs off a stick, no more than like a little $10 Petco hook, and they're documenting them. They're showing them their behavior in the wild, and it's actually acts like this. Give it what it needs. There's 500 ways to make your animal thrive, to make it work great. But if you kind of mimic what's working for the ones that are doing it, not only on I want to say like a commercial level because they have a high volume amount, but even if they're doing it at a bedroom level, get the right equipment, take your time, be patient, and it's a whole give, don't grab. Let the animal come. The animal will come to you. Some of these species that are some of these literature books or even experiences, they're like, you can't get to this animal, you can't touch it. Oh, really? Well, then what? So, are you giving it the right diet? Are you giving the right environment?
And I was just getting ready to say that, dude. I've seen animals that are downright hateful over at a certain facility, and all of a sudden you bring them in and you set them up in a totally different environment, and that animal's not so damn bad. So
no, I know, man. They know.
There
They
can
read
be
energy.
temperamental. There can be
Some people work with all
temperamental
the animals and
nature,
never have a
but
problem.
where he said earlier, I believe you said it with the Woma, that's not a bad one to think about for somebody just getting in. This is not an entry-level animal that he's handling right now with the green tree. And James has put in some work to get to this point. So these are beautiful, beautiful animals. But for anybody that's watching, do your research. Don't jump on it because you saw something beautiful here,
100%.
and make sure it's something you're ready for, because it's not that you can't get it, but there are stages that it'll be easier for you and the animals if you progress in that way. I just want to kind of put a little public service announcement, because this can be deceiving for somebody, and they be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to get one of those. And they can be firecrackers. You have to do proper handling and stuff.
100%. That's why the main thing with this, ultimately, is research, no stress on the animals, be in a position to be in it for the long run, 10 years, 20 years, in this case, sometimes over 30. A good shout out to Eric, with the monkey tails and stuff, normally from the Facebook groups from Daytona. These are all now we consider friends. Multiple people that have certain species in their care. Some just focus maybe just on one particular, some maybe dabble in a few. But when you're doing it, you're getting results generational. 3 generational results is because you're doing something right for the animal in a captive way, for it to thrive. And you can have, whether they call it an expert level that nobody can handle, or a beginner level, where they say, hey, it's one of the best ones to get introduced into the hobby. Whatever you're most passionate about, you stay consistent. And I would never just say you can't have it. You can't have it now. You haven't had it yet. It took me over 20 years to get a Blackhead Python. I could have maybe purchased one, but I wouldn't have been ready. So, the time, the research, and it works. And but I'm going to put this one back because you do want to limit the handling of these short sessions.
Sure.
So as an example, enough to show, and then I'm just going to put this one back.
Yeah. So something that I learned about them. So as juveniles, they're diurnal, which means that they're active during the day because they can hunt smaller animals at that time frame. And then they shift over to nocturnal as they get into adults to hunt larger prey that's more active at night in their area. And they have the prehensile tail, which I believe the meaning for that is for seizing or grasping. I think that's what it said in the dictionary.
Yes, exactly.
But they do so much with that tail because they're also an arboreal species. So that means that they spend most of their time up in the trees, guys. But they'll actually wiggle the end of their tail to help lure prey. The tail actually helps them climb trees, anchor itself, and basically be able to catch prey directly as it's snatching it up and dangling from the tree. So they are known for having some pretty big fangs on them, which is because they're snatching at times birds or whatever. And they have to have those larger fangs, so to speak, because they have to be able to hold the weight of whatever they have. Because most of the time, most of the time in the wild, they're extended off of the branch. What I super love about them, though, I love when they're on their perch, dude. I love when they're on their perch. They're just
like they're Batman, like a gargoyle ready to fly off.
Dude, just wrapped around it with the head right in the middle.
Ready to go.
And just, dude, it just looks awesome.
And their eyes look like targets. They look like these eyes. That's what I mean. Yes, is the beauty in them? Yeah, the beauty's in them too. But again, I call them. They're like, it's like having coral or tropical fish. You're not gonna hold it all the time. You can interact with it. But again, green tree pythons, are they great for a beginner? I mean, who doesn't want a beautiful green tree python? Yes, they're really cool, and they make it a good animal to have on display. But you can work with them, you can handle them, and just so anybody knows, I am touching other animals, and yes, my hands are clean from the other spot over here. We have cleaning area, everything stays nice. But as far as with the green trees, it's really cool because again, they start off yellow, some start off red. They always, so they turn out green. When they breed, some of them can turn blue. They get the hormonal blue color in them. Some of them stay like a bright yellow, depending on what locality. Like the Canary Island ones, they have a bright yellow to them. This green tree was actually came from a friend as well, and the breeder as well was from Underground. They're really cool. They're cool animals all the way around. One of the main things in keeping a green tree python, smaller meals. Again, a lot of these are boreals. They're not pulling down, giant prey-sized items all the time. So I always recommend with the boreals that were slender, narrow neck, to always go with more, smaller prey items and feed them, like that way. Because a lot of them will start, you actually hurt them that way. So you don't always keep the animal in a constant state of digestion. By the way, this is Sonny. You know him. He's my main guy.
Yeah. It looks like Sonny. It looks like Sonny was laying under a log or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was in the
sink. He was. He's still got log indention in him. Those things are such sausages, bro.
Oh, he is.
Okay, so, dude, you got it out. Hold it up and tell them about it.
Oh, this is the Carusha zimbrata, the Solomon Island skink, the monkey-tail skink. But now these guys, these will always be my number one. These are my number ones. Reptiles. This is why I got into the hobby. I've seen these, and I was like, there's no way. This is a tree animal. Skin from outer space. So I'm gonna have these, and they're gonna grow. And we're just gonna have a big family. That's what we have. Family of tree animals, and this is it. So, and they are so cool. They're vegetarians. They eat fruit. They hang upside down by their tail. Doesn't hurt them by doing this. A lot of these you'll see on YouTube or in collections or in the wild. They look, very defensive, but they can really, really, with care and time and the right environment, be one of the best unique exotic animals that you can have. And Sonny's a great example.
So anytime I see those, and I don't see them very often, dude. I really, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
I don't see them very often, but when I do, I give you a shout out immediately, dude. Shout out to the Texas Reptile Expo. When I was out there doing some special guest work with Jesse, the show promoter, I stumbled across this table, the North Texas Tarantula Breeders, something like that. They were one of the sponsors up there, and they've got all these tarantulas, and I'm going along showing them. Bam! Right in the middle of the tarantula thing is a little Exoterra with a monkey tail in it. I had to stop what I was doing. I was in the middle of talking to the guy. I had to stop what I was doing to give you the shout out.
No, I love that, man. I appreciate that. It was really cool. I mean, if there's one animal I'm going to ever be known for in reptile hobby, I'd love to be accredited to the Carusha, man. Conservation for Carusha. I can't wait to go to this year's Reptile Expo again and see everybody that's about these, and anybody that has questions. There's a lot of us in the reptile group that have these. They're super passionate about these guys. All animals, but this is number one always forever will be this species for me. I hope they always make it in captivity as well, in the wild, let alone in captivity. Very, very hard animal to get into breeding. Not super easy. And there's a whole, the whole segment just on that. But Yeah, man. He wanted a monkey and a lizard put together. This is it.
Uh-huh.
And I love bananas.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, man. Sunshine.
Well, right on, dude. I feel like we pretty much did our damage. We steamrolled through
Yeah.
everything. So I think we might go ahead and wrap up, let everybody get back to whatever they were doing this Saturday.
Yeah.
James, I'm glad we hit each other up and we just shotgunned this. Didn't know it was going to happen.
There's not. That's what I'm saying. That's why this is fun, and we could, if everybody gets excited and everybody is happy about it, we got a lot of cool animals between, me and you have a lot of, animals that were got projects and thrilled to have and passionate about and collab and all the friends that we have in the hobby that are into this and what we're passionate about. And my biggest shout out before we wrap this up, absolutely Marcus Cantos at the Turtle Stores. I appreciate the involvement into the hobby and how everybody as a whole together. The USARC, shout out to that as well. And obviously, everybody puts on the Daytona show because that's the show that I feel like is the most family that I have there, even the reptiles altogether. So, yes, I appreciate the time and opportunity to come onto your platform with the animals, and I really look forward to doing it again.
Absolutely, dude. Well, hey, James, I appreciate it, brother. I will talk to you here in a little bit. And we'll see you next time around, brother.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. So that's what we got for you today. I apologize that this happened to be something that dropped when we've got the playoff football stuff going on. But thanks, everybody that stopped in. Hopefully you learned a little something. If nothing else, got to see some cool animals. I am looking at pushing the show forward. I don't know exactly what kind of format we're going to do on it yet, whether it's going to be something every 2 weeks or once a month or whatever. But we're going to go ahead and mix some stuff up. We're going to bring some other stuff on outside of ball pythons and things like that. I will have some ball python breeders on as well. I like to spotlight a little bit of everybody. But if you've got some animals or something and you want to come on, hit up your boy and we can definitely get something going. And guys, that's all I've got for you. So with that, we're going to hit it up, man. Peace. I'm out.